edition of my DO Disney YouTube page. It's just me today. And today I'm going to start a new series, and I'm going to talk about, did I already forget what I was talking about? I'm going to be talking about the extra, the events, what would they call them? Like extra magic events or whatever. I feel like any phrase that you say it to make it sound cool, but it also just means an upcharge. So essentially like the upcharge events. So thank you. I forget who even suggested this because it came to me months ago to suggest this to be a YouTube video. And I never thought I'd actually get to it, but now that I'm still stuck at home, I can make a whole series of YouTube videos at home. And so this is gonna be my new series because I have 4 to talk about. There are 4 events that I've been to. So the 4 I'm gonna do are Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the After Hours events, and what's the other one? H2O Glow. I feel like, have I done any others? No, I think that's right. So yeah, those 4. I mean, I've also done Mickey's Halloween Party at Disneyland, but I don't think it's even worth making a video about that because I've only been once, and also it's very different from when I did it 2 years ago because it's now, I think, mostly at California Adventure, and it used to be at Disneyland. So without further ado, let's get started. So I am going to talk about the Halloween party first. I know this is kind of a moot point this year because none of these events are happening, but you know, eventually they will next year. I would hope so, and I guess they haven't officially said that the Halloween part or the Christmas party's canceled, although I'm sure it's happening. But so anyway, hopefully these help you out for next year. So the other thing I was gonna say is another event that we've been to is the Moonlight Magic event for Disney Vacation Club members, but we really did not participate very much in it all. It was raining and we left pretty early, so I really don't have much to say about that. Our September trip that we're not going on because we can't go to Florida was supposed to be for the Moonlight Magic event at Hollywood Studios, but c'est la vie, best laid plans. So hopefully maybe sometime next year we can do it. So the Halloween party is the one I'm going to start with because it's the one I'm most familiar with. It's the one I've been to the most times. So last year we went to the Halloween party 3 times. The year before I think we were at twice maybe, or 3 times, and then the year before a few times too. So we've been quite a few times. So any of these events are an upcharge, and I think the Halloween party is pretty pricey. I think it can be like maybe as low, I'm just looking at what it looks like, maybe as low as like $80, but I think it definitely goes over the hundreds, especially when you're on Halloween night. It's the most expensive night, but you can get a slight discount if you're an annual pass holder or a Disney Vacation Club member. The party tickets do sell out, so you do want to make sure that you're buying them before your trip. They don't always sell out. I mean, definitely, like, I've been there in August and they're not sold out because it's August, but definitely, you know, the ones I've been to in late September, early October have sold out before the day even started. So better to get your tickets ahead of time, which you can always do on the website or the app, I think. Yeah, because I've definitely bought tickets on the app before. So that's the first thing you want to do is buy your tickets. I think it's a little cheaper for kids. Honestly, I don't think it's much. I think the one time I bought my nephew's ticket, like for my sister, it was like $5 cheaper or something. So that's the first thing you do. The parties don't start until 7 p.m. After hours is a little different. They tend to start a lot later, but these parties, I believe the Christmas party is the same. It usually always starts at 7 p.m., but you can get into the park at 4 p.m. So if you don't have an annual pass, you know, and you're buying like just day tickets, sometimes it's worth not even buying a ticket for this day because you can get in so early. And then once the party starts, everyone who doesn't have a regular ticket to the Magic Kingdom, I guess I should have said that these events happen at the Magic Kingdom, this one anyway, you know, has to leave, and so you're a little more likely to get on rides. So it's up to you if you want to even buy tickets. So again, you can arrive as early as 4. So I'm just gonna go through the process of arrival. So when you get there, you are going to, there's 2 entrances. So by the tap styles or the turnstiles, if you like to be old school, to the left are gonna be tap styles for people, I almost said patients, people who don't have, guests who do not have park tickets, and to the right, I'm sorry, event tickets, and to the right would be people who do have event tickets. I guess I could have said that these are special events, not magic moments or whatever the heck I tried to call them. So you're going to go into the right side, and you know, if you have a magic band, your ticket should be linked to your magic band, and you can just tap it, but they do sometimes give you hard tickets that you just tap to the tap style. Now once you're in, a cast member will give you a specific band that goes on your wrist, and that will be checked multiple times through the night, because they're always going to say, hey, can you show your band, so that we know you're paid for the event. And then you head on in, you'll get a candy bag because there is trick-or-treating, and then you'll go through the side entrance. So this is new in the last like few years, that there's this big side entrance. If you go past the Tony's on your right side, then you go to the right hand, there's going to be like these big blow-ups that tell you like, hey, this is where the party is, and there will be usually a sign that says go to the right for the party. And when you go over there, there's going to be photo pass pictures. So typically there's some cute little props that they can use, or little statues that you can pose with, or like there's usually a big pumpkin that says like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party 2019, and you can pose with those. We tend to get a lot of our pictures here because we don't always get them later at night. So that's where we do that. And then this is also going to be your first trick-or-treat stop, that they'll give you your first bag of candy, and it's usually like the sponsored candies or whoever sponsors the event. So it's a pretty decent sized bag. And that's it. So then then you kind of have a little bit of time to kill. We always have a hard time with this like waiting period of what to do stuff. So sometimes we'll eat dinner before we go to events, which is probably, if you want to try out some of the treats, not always the best idea. But, so that's an option. But we also are pass holders, so we don't really, feel like we need to get in right at 4, or sometimes we'll go in at 4 and have a fast pass or 2 or something. So there's a few different things you can do. Now the newer things that they've been doing, and I can't remember, I think they did it for the Christmas party too, but they start kicking people out at 6, which they never used to do. So the party used to start at 7, and that's when they started kicking people out. Ooh, I guess kicking people out is not a very nice word, but kind of sweeping people out who don't have event bands or tickets. So, but now they do it an hour earlier, which actually makes it a lot better, because it's just like, I feel like it was always chaotic at 7, and they're trying to push people out. And the reason I'm not sure that they do this for Christmas is because they usually do the last castle lighting right before like the regular guests can leave. So anyway, so between this 4 and 7 period, it's kind of regular operation of the Magic Kingdom. None of the special like layovers or anything will be happening yet. But this is a good time to kind of make a strategy. So the problem I would say with the events is, so they go from 7, I think, till midnight. I've never stayed at an event past like 11, because I am not a late night. We're not late night people at all. But you could if you wanted to. And so the problem is, it's not a lot of time, right? And so you feel like you're gonna have all this time, and you really don't. So we try to pick like 1 or 2 things that we really want to make sure we do. So for the Halloween party, for example, like our first Halloween party last year, the 2 things we really wanted to get done were meet a character and watch the parade. And so those were the 2 things we focused on, and we did some trick-or-treating between them, but we weren't really trying to get on many of the rides or see any of the layovers or that type of thing. So kind of make a little strategy. They will give you a map when you walk in as well that will tell you that like, hey, a character will be meeting here. This is a trick-or-treat stop. But the problem with the maps is that it will not say which character is meeting where. So you really have to do a lot of research to see if you can figure out where a specific character is meeting. And a lot of times they're the same place, but they do move around a little bit. So, if you're not sure, you can always ask a cast member, they'll let you know. But typically I try to look up online, like Disney Tourist Blog has really good articles usually every year about where the characters are, because for specific characters, like you need to get in line pretty early. So there's a few main characters that you cannot really meet anywhere other than the parties. And that would be for Jack and Sally, which usually it used to be just Jack Skeleton at the Halloween party, but I feel like last year Sally might have been there. And then the 7 Dwarfs. So these are like the biggest characters, and they will actually come out before 7. So you kind of have to like figure out where they are. This last year, Jack and Sally were in Mickey's like where Mickey meets, like actually where Tinkerbell meets. But they used to be over by where Tiana meets, kind of like in Liberty Square over there. And then the Seven Dwarfs used to meet in like the circus tent in the back with like around Casey Jr. But now they actually meet in the actual circus tent. So there was like a circus in the back, which I actually don't even know what that is in real life. So that's where they used to meet. It's outside, but they moved them inside, which is actually kind of nice because of air conditioning, to where you would meet like Donald and Goofy, Daisy, and Minnie during the regular park hours. So if you're gonna want to meet one of these characters, you really want to get in line sooner rather than later. There have been times that we've gotten in line at like 5 or 4:30 because they typically will come out somewhere between 5:36 or 6:30, somewhere in that range. Sometimes I feel like the dwarves usually come out, like every time we met them, they come out around 6. And so it's kind of nice. You can get started. You know, you're still going to wait a long time, I feel like, no matter what time you get there. So, I mean, that's something to consider. If you really don't want to wait a long time in a line for a character, then either don't meet them or wait till the end of the day to meet them, or pick like the not as popular characters. I mean, we've definitely met like Goofy and waited like 10 minutes to see him, but like, you know, the bigger characters like that you don't often see, like Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph, or Vanellope, or I'm trying to think of who else. Sometimes the Toy Story characters are there, like the villains would be out in some cases, like the evil stepmom and all that type of stuff. So you are going to be spending a lot of your time in line. But as far as I can tell, the two that definitely come out early are the Seven Dwarfs and Jack, or Jack and Sally. So kind of plan on that if you're going to do those. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is trick-or-treating. I kind of talked about this, but trick-or-treating, there's tons of trick-or-treat stops, and a lot of times they're through restaurants, and you just go through and you get a ton of candy. It's awesome. You get so much candy. If you have an allergy, they do let you, I think you get a specific bag. We don't have allergies, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think you get a specific bag at like guest services when you walk in, like in the town square area, the city hall area. And the bag is a different color, so the cast members know that you have an allergy, and they'll give you a different type of candy depending on your allergy. I know I listened to a podcast once that was saying that if you have like pretty specific allergies, then sometimes like, you know, maybe nuts, because you can't have any candy that was made in a factory that might have nuts, or like gluten and stuff like that, then I do think that they'll give you just a full bag of stuff when you go in to get your bag of candy, which is super nice. So but you'll get, like I said, tons of candy. It's mostly chocolate or like chewy stuff, like Lifesavers. They have these super good Lifesaver gummies. They're my favorite. But they don't have a lot of savory stuff. So that was the big difference between, I would say, like Disneyland and Disney World, is every stop in Disneyland had 2 stops of candy and a savory snack. It would be like they had popcorn, I know, at one of the places, like baked popcorn, and then they had like applesauce and that type of stuff. So I feel like Disney could do that a little bit better, but they definitely have more trick-or-treat spots than Disneyland had, so maybe that's why. But anyway, so that's that. So, okay, so trick-or-treating, meeting characters, and then the other things, the big things are the rides. Obviously, if you want to wait for the rides. So we don't usually do a ton of rides. I mean, we're always bound to ride the People Mover, of course, because we love the People Mover, and it's just kind of cool way to see the whole like Tomorrowland area all decorated for Halloween. But there are several rides that have what they call an overlay. So they're not going to be as crazy as the overlays in Disneyland because they don't shut down like the Haunted Mansion or anything. But the Haunted Mansion is one that would be considered an overlay. Actually, I don't know if they consider it overlay or not. But what the Haunted Mansion is, it's so cool. You like go and they'll have some of the ghosts out in the garden and they're interacting with guests, and there's tons of fog, and that's really fun. It's super entertaining to watch them. And then you can do the Mad Tea Party. The teacups have an overlay. It was just like light changes and music changes. Space Mountain has an overlay. It's super creepy because it's literally just pitch black in there with creepy music. It's a little terrifying, honestly, but it is really fun. And what else has an overlay? Pirates had an overlay for the first time last year, and this was that it had live actors in there, and that was so cool. They were like in the queue interacting with guests, and that was really fun. And then there were a few live actors during the ride, which was really cool too. So that's that. The other thing, other few things are, besides the trick-or-treating, there's always going to be specialty treats, which they will include in the map. But also, again, if you kind of look before you go, then you should be able to find out what you might like. We've literally never gotten any of the specialty treats because we always eat before we go, or we get full from candy, or we forget, honestly. But like Starbucks usually has some sort of cake, there's push pops, there's, I know, like Hades nachos, that type of stuff, so that's really cool. And then there's also some special PhotoPass moments too. I know we've gotten PhotoPass pictures taken with like hitchhiking ghosts, but a different kind of hitchhiking ghost that you would get during the day, and they have the lantern photos and all that stuff, so that's really cool too. We just never stop for a lot of that stuff, and like I said, a lot of it's because probably because we don't spend a lot of time there because we're so tired all the time, but B, we just always like to do other things and meet characters. I forgot as I'm sitting here that there is another overlay, and it's Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. And so it's cute because it's actually a trick-or-treat stop. So you go in, and then you can also sit down, and they have a very short version of like the show, but based to Halloween, and like about like Marty Wazowski asking like what Halloween is essentially. So that's really cute. So that's that. And then the big things are like the stage shows and the parade and the fireworks. So there is a stage show that happens every year. It's been Hocus Pocus for a while. I'm not gonna lie, we've never watched the stage show. I have no idea what it's like. I think it goes on a few times a night. I'm just looking to see if I can see anything about it, because I honestly don't know that much about it. But yeah, I think it's Hocus Pocus. I mean, I may have watched it from afar. I don't know. I've never really stopped to watch it. I feel like I'm like thinking of other things. Lining up for characters. Yeah, so we said Jack and Sally, and we did that. I'm just reading this article. Oh, the Winnie the Pooh characters are always super cute, FYI. So there are, let me talk about the parade, and I'll kind of come back to the show. So there's the Boo to You parade. It does go on twice a night, so there's going to be an earlier parade, which maybe somewhere around 8:30, and then there's a later parade, which I think is like 10:30 or 11. Never made it to that parade, but this parade, I would say, like, is pretty crowded, but it's not nearly as crowded as the Christmas parade. So I feel like I have not lined up that early for this parade to watch it, and I feel like if you watch it towards like the end of Main Street where the train station is, I've really never had a problem getting a seat there pretty last minute. But this parade is so cool. It starts with the Headless Horseman, and he runs down on an actual horse, and that's really cool. And then the parade is just awesome. It has the Gravediggers from Haunted Mansion. It has Vanellope with Candy Float. It has all the characters dressed in their Halloween costumes. It has a villain's float, a pirate's float. It's super cool. I would definitely recommend seeing it. And if you're not wanting to stay up, like, I wouldn't stress too much about having to see the second parade for this particular party. And then the fireworks show, I think it's called, what's it called? Mickey's Not So Scary, Not So Spooky Spectacular. It's actually really cool. So I forget, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because who knows what times anything will be at, or if there's fireworks, but I feel like fireworks were at like 9 or 9:30 usually. And it's, this year is new, so it used to be called Hallowishes, which I didn't like that much anyway, so I was actually kind of happy they made a new Halloween fireworks parade. Sorry to Chrissy, because I know she loved Hallowishes. I loved regular wishes, but not Hallowishes. So this one is cool. It has cool music, but it has really cool projections. But for me, I didn't feel like it was like Happily Ever After, where you really need to be super close to the castle to see a lot of the projections. I stood pretty far back on Main Street the one time I watched this, and I could see everything fine, but it was really neat. So that's once a night that they do that. And that can get rain delayed, so can the parade, so just keep that in mind. So it's called Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. Yeah, it looks like there's at least 3 or 4 showing of it, and I don't know, I think they bring out some, well, I'm like super off on my time, so let me go back on that, but it looks like the Boo to You parade is at 9:15 and 11:15. Sorry. The Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular is at 10:15, and then, I mean, honestly, like, I really don't remember it being that late, but I guess that makes sense. Anyway, so I don't know much about this stage show, but I think it looks like they maybe do it 3 or 4 times, which is cool for you to see. And then we talked about the meet and greets, the special little offerings. If you play Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, which I've never played, but I do know that they do have special cards. For that, they also have merchandise specifically to the parties that you can buy. They have annual pass specific merchandise as well. They have really cute Halloween stuff. This is a little hard for me to film this video because it's the first time we haven't been to Disney around Halloween or to see the Halloween decorations in years. And I love fall decorations. I used to feel like spring was my favorite holiday, but honestly, I feel like fall is turning into my favorite holiday season. I just love fall decorations and like Halloween decorations, but so anyway, the special merchandise is usually in, like where the Dumbo gift shop is, the big top one. What else can I talk about? The food, like we said. Oh, a lot of things aren't open during the parties, so not all the restaurants are open. So like we usually eat at Cosmic Rays or some stuff, but like for example, Pinocchio's Village House will be closed because that's one of the trick-or-treat stops, so that's just something to keep in mind. And did I cover everything? No, I didn't, because I forgot about the most important thing, and that's costumes. So costumes are allowed during the Halloween party. It is the only time an adult is allowed to wear a costume. So, but please keep in mind that it's very hot in Florida, so you might not want to go all out. I know some people do, and good for you, but I've said it before, we're from the north, we can't handle the heat that well. So we typically kind of make a cute costume, but like make it summery. So like for example, one year we went as Pooh and Tigger, so we wore like, my mom had a Pooh shirt on, I had a Tigger shirt on, and then we wore like a sparkle skirt and compression shorts because it's too hot to wear pants. But then last year we actually didn't even wear costumes. We wore like a cute shirt that said Boo, and we wore like a tutu, a Halloween tutu, and some shorts or leggings under it. So that's something to keep in mind, but definitely if you can get dressed up, you want to. So it's fun to like think about that. We were gonna be Woody and Buzz last year, or Woody and Jessie, but we decided against it just because we had already bought these cute shirts and we decided to just keep wearing them. So that's what we did. So, and then like I said, the party ends at midnight, and I've never seen that, but I'm sure it's cool to be there at the nighttime. So I'm just kind of scrolling through this article and making sure I'm not missing anything, but I am not, I don't think. So that's a quick recap of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. I do hope that they'll do it again next year. It is really, truly so fun. I actually love it, which is funny because like I said, well, I used to not really like fall, but I also used to really hate Halloween, but I don't like being scared. But the point of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party is that it's not so scary. So it's perfect for people like me. Oh, and then like the coolest photo pass opportunity when you walk out is going to be right in front of the train station. You get a picture of the Headless Horseman. It's super cool. But there's also a cool photo pass party picture on Main Street with dancing ghosts from the Haunted Mansion. So that's cool too. And then I guess, sorry, I keep like forgetting these things. I guess I'll briefly touch on this. They do have upcharge events within the upcharge event. So there is usually a dessert party at Tomorrowland Terrace, and then there's that new Cruella's Halloween Hideaway, which is at Tony's Town Square. I don't really think these are worth it. I think you get like reserved viewing for the second fireworks show, and then maybe for the parade if you do the Cruella one. So you're paying a ton of money for just reserved viewing, which I feel like at the Halloween party maybe is not necessary. Christmas party might be a different story, but it's a lot of money. I think like if you're adding on an extra ticket, it's over $100 extra. So do you really want to pay an extra, like a total of $200 or more for this event? I don't think so, but that's totally up to you. So all right, so that's it. So I think next week I will touch on the Christmas party. We've been to the Christmas party a few times as well, but we've never really watched the parade, so I'm going to give you that little warning. So much to my dismay. Oh, also there's a dance party in Tomorrowland Terrace and in Tomorrowland, usually with like The Incredibles or The Descendants, I think were there last year. So that's another thing, which I'll talk way more about that at the Christmas party because that's one of our favorite parts. So all right, if you guys have any questions, drop me a comment below, or if you want to tell me what you've gone as in the past, I'll quickly talk about our costumes. We were, like I mentioned, Pooh and Tigger. We were Cruz Ramirez and Lightning McQueen when we were in Disneyland. We have gone as, who else? Like I said, mostly Halloween parties. I think we have one more costume, and I can't think of what it was. I don't know. Maybe that's all, because I feel like then we just wore Halloween stuff otherwise. So that's it, guys. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next week to talk about the Christmas party.